Hey everyone, hopefully you can hear me this week. Apologies for last week's audio. I had no idea until right at the end. So yeah, the topic this week should be pretty fun. But I think we're just going to take it a bit more casual this week. I've got nothing written down. I do have a few things prepared, but I just feel like today went super fast. I couldn't really believe that it was already time. Well, I guess we can just rip straight into the topic if you like. So I've got here 10 of the easiest fish, I think, to breed. There are, of course, always honorable mentions and things like that. We'll get to those at the end. And some of them do need prefacing. So I'll let you know a bit why they're on my list. And so yeah, I've personally bred them all. So yeah, you can take my word for it. We'll go with the guppy. Super easy fish to breed. You know, one day, don't do anything. So long as there's a decent ratio, a bit of limestone in the water, you'll just come over to the tank one day and there'll be 1.5 trillion guppies in the water. It wouldn't be a list of easiest fish to breed without guppies. Depending on where you get them from, they do like a little bit of salt in the water, a bit of hardness, and other than that, that's where most people go wrong. Keeping guppies. Other than that, they should be super easy. Get some nice floating plants in there because baby guppies love the top of the water column. And other than that, they should be able to hide and get away. So yeah, guppy, of course, going to be on the list of easiest fish to breed. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about them. We'll tick off the other live bearer that I've put on this list, and that is the platy. In my opinion, a lot hardier than guppies, and I think they might even hold the title of the first fish that I ever bred. You know, more of a classic looking fish, I suppose. Yeah, so platies can deal with a bit more. They will be a bit more forgiving on the hardness and salt side, and just generally they're super robust fish. So right into breeding myself a few platies. What should we go with on the list next? Well, the other two that could have quite easily made the list, swordtails and mollies, but I think just because they get a bit on the larger side, that's why I left them off, because I'm sort of got real beginners in the mind here, so they didn't make the list, but they could quite easily be honorable mentions. Next one, let's go with a bit of a controversial one. Hey, I've actually got rainbow fish here, and before you jump down my throat, I'll explain why. Because this video is titled the easiest fish to breed, I would say that rainbow fish are super easy to breed. Like, drop a spawning mop in, the very next day you'll harvest some eggs. Drop it in the next day, you'll harvest the eggs the next day. Every single day, without doubt. You can get yourself 1 billion rainbow fish eggs super easy. Raising them up into fish might be a whole different story, but if we are talking about easiest fish to breed, I certainly would say that rainbow fish. And to be honest, most spawning mop fish, especially the ones that are going to breed daily, like, yeah, I could have easily put like the golden wonder killifish on this list as well. Any of those sort of panchaks, actually. But I thought I've sort of done those a bit to death as well, so we'll sneak a bit of a rainbow fish into here. I haven't verified this. I'm planning on doing it soon, but I've even heard that the dwarf neon rainbow fish, the Praecox rainbow fish, can be colony bred. So I was listening to, can't remember exactly who it was, but they were quite knowledgeable, whoever it was. That's a great anecdote to provide, isn't it? But yeah, and they were saying that you can colony breed Praecox rainbows. So I'm keen to do that, because if they're going to not eat their eggs and fry, then I'm getting down for a big old tank of Praecox rainbows. So cherry shrimp on the list. Should they be on the list? Well, it does say the easiest fish to breed, and they're not a fish, but super hardy. They do all the breeding themselves. You don't even have to turn on the Barry White to get these guys going. You get to check out the eggs in real time, and you don't have to do any work for them. So super easy fish to breed again, or invert. And all you need to do is make sure there's no big old predators that are going to eat them, and that there's enough enough cover and stuff like that for the parents to feel comfortable to procreate. So cherry shrimp are also in there, super hardy. They'll handle a lot of wider water parameters than the internet would have you believe, in my opinion. And yeah, awesome little critter would be the bristlenose. I've got a ton of videos on breeding bristlenose. Basically, once again, they can handle pretty much any parameters of water. They just don't like a bit of heat. So keep it, under 27 Celsius or 80, something like that. Keep it under that and you should be okay. And provide them a cave that they can trap the female in. So that's pretty much how they work. Is you need to give an area that the female can go into and then not escape from, and he will do all the rest, as nasty as that sounds. They're egg layers, but the father is really, really great parent. So they'll do all the work until the fry are ready to be kicked out of the cave, and the whole process is able to be started again. So Bristlenose are, of course, on the list. While we're down the bottom of the aquarium, we can jump over to this one as well. Maybe people might debate this. I'm talking specifically around bronze and peppercorns. In this instance, I think they are super easy to breed. Just do a bit of a colder water change and you'll notice some things on your glass, and there will be a lot of eggs. Bronze Quarry is a bit of a chunkier sort of a Quarry, but the thing that you want to do with these guys is actually take the eggs off the glass, or if you are more prepared, set up a secondary aquarium, slightly cooler, and then just net the male and female Quarry out, chuck them in that tank, wait till the next morning, and then net them out again, and get yourself, those like long air stones that are like what are they called? Like a bubble curtain sort of thing they're called. Stick those directly underneath the eggs so that there's circulation always around the eggs. And in no time, the eggs will hatch out by themselves. And you'll have mini Quarries for days. In one of my, it might have even been the first ever video I did on this channel, I had about 80 baby bronze Quarries, and it was really good fun. So would recommend. The Kribensis, certainly easy one to breed. Once again, awesome parents, plenty of color. You can get different varieties too. Maybe that's not as commonly known. Some that I'm really keen on is the Nigerian red Kribensis, but there are different kinds, albino versions, all sorts of fun little things you can play with. Super hardy again. Maybe people don't realize they're actually an African cichlid, but they live in lower pH water. It's kind of like a little fun fact about these guys. This on screen is a male, or that way is a male. You can tell by the tail. And actually a good quality indicator is how many spots. If you've got some Kribensis at home, have a bit of a look at how many spots they have. If they're like this photo here and they have, 9, that's a really high quality Kribensis. Actually in Australia, it's kind of hard to get a Kribensis with any spots on the tail, honestly. So check them out. And yeah, I think that's pretty much enough for cribs, dwarf cichlid, and super hardy and all those things. Just give them a cave and they'll do the rest. Well, while we're in Africa, let's segue over to these guys. Not particularly the type of fish that's on the screen, but I'm talking about general Mbuna, MBUNA cichlids, mouth brooding African cichlids. That's a giant that's a giant statement, I guess, but Mbuna, I think they're super easy. Electric yellows, Demisoni, those sorts of beginner ones are probably best suited, but these guys are cool because the females hold the eggs in their mouth, so you have basically the option to remove them, place them in a tumbler, or if you're lucky enough, place the free swimmers in a separate tank or container, and it can be really awesome. If you do want to strip, you're probably going to need an egg tumbler, which is basically like a cylinder that runs air through and just jumbles up the eggs. I just think they're quote unquote easy because they'll look after the eggs for the most part. And the only real risk is if they spit them out in the tank and then they get eaten. So pretty easy to strip and raise the fry artificially. So that's why they've made the list. But yeah, within that Mbuna category, there will be varying levels of difficulty keeping. Nice little beginner fish here. I think these guys are actually from India. Danios, zebra danio, leopard danio, all sorts of different types of Danios. There is a little bit of a trick to breeding Danios. Get yourself some nice big pebbles, marbles, and cover the bottom of the tank in those. They'll breed pretty much every morning. So what you want to do is allow them, like wait till the lights come on or the sun goes up, allow them to do their little dance, make their little love, get down tonight, and then they'll have all the eggs in between the marbles, pebbles, etc. And because the marbles are there, they won't be able to eat them all immediately. But what you want to do is take them out, put them back in the community tank or pond or whatever you run them in, and then the fry will hatch out. You wanted to take them out because they will eat fry. They're mad for eating eggs, fry, and anything else. They're super quick fish too, so the fry don't have much chance to get away. So yeah, those guys are pretty cool. Every day, once again, they'll breed. Yeah, not really difficult at all. The hardest part about breeding these guys is stopping them from eating their own offspring. Yeah, last but not least, personal favorite of mine. I still have these guys in the fish room now. And this is a really good looking photo of a female, by the way. Convict cichlid. Firemouth could be in the same basket here. But yeah, absolutely beastie. Don't keep them with anything else, especially not a breeding pair, because they'll just destroy anything, because they are that good at parenting that they will murder for their children. So yeah, ripping fish certainly can get really nice colors through them. I think they're really underrated. I've got a video out on these guys as well. Might even be like my third most viewed video or something like that. And if you haven't ever played with convicts before and you've got a spare tank lying around, definitely recommend doing it. You can't keep plants and all that with these guys, but yeah, who needs plants? If you got a female that looks like that, I think you don't really need plants, even if I'm a giant advocate for plants all the time. So that's the list. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I missed anything. Honorable mentions, we sort of covered off mollies, swordtails, fire mouths, spawning mop breeders, like your panjaxes and all that. Oh, I was debating whether to put angelfish on this list, because I find them pretty easy, but I've got a system fairly well down packed now, and I sort of know what to look out for. But I know other people struggle, and then other people have them breed in community tanks. So angelfish could be there, could not be there. It depends really what your pair are like. White clouds, and I wanted to sort of cover off my belief that everything could be on this list if you include outdoor ponds. You've heard me many times ramble on about how great ponds are, and they make the most difficult task the easiest task, especially things like what we talked about, raising up rainbow fish fry. I mean, it's like a full-time job if you try and do it indoors. You do it outdoors, easy as piece of cake. So ponds, yeah, I kind of think that yeah, if you want anything to be on this list, chuck it out in the pond and give it a go. I hope you enjoyed this one, and yeah, found it informative. If you did, please make sure to reach out and let me know what you thought about it, or things that I could add or improve in the future. I'm happy to take on board any feedback that I can, so that would be greatly appreciated. And be on the lookout for future editions to come. I got plenty more of these to work through, and I continue to live stream every Thursday at least. So I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching or listening.